it's not enough to want to make the same old thing that people have been making for 50 or 100 years. You would have to want to make something new and personal. Creating art of any kind, it might be fun, but it's hard and it's a slog. And you really have to want to feel compelled to do it. So let's say you are compelled. You're creating art and you want to get it in front of an audience. For various reasons, like it's really hard to break into it. There's editorial restrictions. Sometimes you have to give up ownership in old media. You decide that it's not for you. You want to go with new media. This internet thing seems really interesting to you. Well, there are a lot of folks out there already, like the folks who, up here on these slides behind me, that are already doing this, right? A recent study by the Harvard Business Review talking about Twitter said that 90% of the content on Twitter is generated by 10% of the people using Twitter, right? And I'm using that, extrapolating it to the rest of the internet, which maybe is fuzzy thinking and sloppy, but I'm doing it anyway. 251 million households in North America are hooked up to the internet. If you take the 90-10 ratio, that means 2.5 million people are providing content. More than 240 million are waiting for that content to arrive. And that's an amazingly large potential audience. So, of course, not everyone is going to capture all of those eyeballs, as they say. The most successful will only capture a small percentage. And the folks that do that are going to do it by having something to say, by having this thing that they feel passionate or obsessive about. And I should warn you that the way I characterize these people's obsessions, that those are my characterizations, not theirs. But if these folks, or you for that matter, hope to make any money out of this, which I think might be desirable, just putting yourself up on the internet isn't going to cut it. One of the advantages of old media is that they have entire departments devoted to designing your work, marketing it, publicizing it, and printing it. In the new media, you, just like these people, get to do like all of that. And all of these people behind me have really crystallized how to do that. They print or otherwise collect and sell their work, but that's not enough. They also create merchandise. Some of them are like publicity monsters. They're always on these other websites talking about their work, somehow directing people to their work. And you see how much they're doing, and it really seems a lot like work. The advantage of this method, of course, is that you have total ownership over what you create. And having worked in traditional publishing, like that is not always the case. There are several things I've created that I don't own, which always kind of sticks in my craw. But if that's the world you work in, if you want to work in it, you have to accept that. But with total freedom comes complete responsibility. I'm glad that worked out. All right. I'm bringing this up because I think it's part of the obsession, too. You have something that you want to say. You take on all of this enormous workload, probably more than you would take on at a full-time day job. But it's all so that you can say what you want to say and get your ideas out there. And I lost my place. And if you can do all of this, an audience will find you. And then it's up to your talents to make sure that you keep that audience. So my area of interest is comics, and a lot of the slides behind me were talking about comics. But I think that this all applies to a lot of different disciplines. You know, you can publish fiction or memoir, travelogues. You can put your photos up. You can record songs and put them on MySpace. Those are magic words right there. And there's also another reason that I decided to talk about this. I have some experience publishing in the real world, and I'm thinking about abandoning that and joining the ranks of these people up here and publishing my work on the web, and you can follow my success or failure right there.